introduce our next speaker, Paulius Nagys. He is going to talk about survivorship bias in e-commerce, unseen challenges and opportunities. Paulius has had over 15 years of experience in this digital industry, helping over 100 different clients in North America, EMEA, the Middle East, South Africa, enabling high complexity Magento solutions. So please give a warm welcome and round hand of applause to Paulius.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Nice meeting you. So my name is Paulius. Today I'll talk about search particularly. I traveled here to this place over 4,000 miles to give one of the shortest presentation of my career. So let's these 20 minutes count. Just a second. Yes. So I want to start this presentation with a very short story about World War II. Maybe you have heard this story before about survivorship bias and World War II. No? Okay. So that's. I believe that it's going to be very interesting for you. So the short story is that during the war, one of the challenges was to analyzing. Just a second. Yes. How does it work? Or maybe this one. Yes, okay, thanks. So during the war, one of the challenges was to analyzing returning planes, which were riddled by bullet holes. And here you can see the picture of the plane and those bullet holes. It seems logical at first, armor, those are the areas where the planes were the most damaged. And those are the areas. But mathematician called named Abraham Wald stepped in, and his perspective was entirely different. He noticed a critical point that military was analyzing the planes that made it back. But what does it mean? It means that Abraham noticed something interesting, that the planes that made it back, even when bullet holes were still flying. So those holes showed where planes could get hit and still survive. But the planes hit in critical spots, like engines, didn't return. That's how he realized that those were the areas that needed more armor. So this story connected me a bit, to our daily life, and especially in e-commerce search, when we started to realize that how we need to armor some e-commerce areas, that we won't lose customers who are coming to e-commerce store. So we took actually just one small example, e-commerce store, 1,300,000 search queries, and let's imagine that those are all bullet holes of the planes. And then out of those 1,300,000 search queries, we have 55,000 zero results of wrong product positioning. So it's, let's call it deadly bullet holes. And the result of that is that out of those zero results, we have lost opportunities, 5,000 orders. And what we would like to share with this slide, that the thing is that we on our daily routine, we tend to measure success. How many orders increased during the month or last quarter or last year, but we are not calculating lost opportunities. We are not calculating how many customers we are losing or how many orders we are losing. So we started to think and to analyze this a bit deeper, and the question is actually, how to armor your e-commerce, that you could measure how many lost opportunities do you have, and how to armor it. So we are taking one of the most famous institute in the world, which is very focused on user experience and user research in e-commerce. They are working with thousands of e-commerce websites, and there is a particular data about e-commerce search and all the issues which current websites have. So I think that all of you had this experience when you are coming to the store and trying, to search something, and suddenly you couldn't find what you're looking for. And here is some data. Actually, some parts of the plane which needs to be armored. 42% of sites have issues on exact search. So when we have really exact search query and we are trying, to look particular product. Another area of the plane which needs to be armored is product type. Seems very simple, but as we see, 71% of the sites have issues. So a broad product category search that could return too many or irrelevant results. And then this one is one of my favorite one, symptom search. We all know when we are going to the pharmacy and trying, not to ask particular medicine, but we are sharing symptoms, and then pharmacists usually suggest particular medicine. So 52% of sites have issues when we talk about symptom search queries. Of course, non-product search queries, usually merchants don't know that visitors who are coming to the website, they are using search bar to look for information such as return policy or order tracking or working hours of physical stores. So it's not only on your SKU catalog, but also for some non-product search. Then we have feature search, which 22% of sites have issues. So an example would be waterproof jacket. And compatibility, when we have a phone and we lost the charger and we are looking for particular charger. And the last one, but not the least, is a slang. So I took New York slang, Uptown Kicks. More and more people actually expect to receive results when they are giving slang search query. So to wrap it up, what we would like, to share with you that 8 planes out of 10 are not coming back, and usually not so many merchants are calculating or even don't know how to calculate how to armor the areas that more planes would come back. And if we would solve that issue, then we would save really a lot of revenue. So that's really important. And finally, if we are looking at the future and all the stuff what is happening with the artificial intelligence and Gen AI thing, so Gartner is saying that by 2026, 5% of the market, of search market, would be taken by the player or by the players who will adopt those technologies. And during past 2-3 years, technologies and libraries and algorithms of the search completely have changed. And it's really interesting what will happen in the future. So final thought is that when we're going to the e-commerce store and we expect that visitors will type search query as a keyword, so actually it's changing and more people is asking question and expects to receive answer. And I think that the future of the search is that we have conversation with search, we have question and answer, and we need to prepare for that. So thank you very much for this speech. And I'm from Lithuania. In Lithuanian, thank you is ačiū. Thanks.
Of applause for Paulius. And if anyone has any questions for Paulius, I think he can stick around for another few minutes. So if there's any questions in the audience, I do have a handheld mic and I can run to you so that you can ask Paulius a very direct question for him and to the audience. But if not, yeah, you can find him outside and ask him your question. But yeah, I'm gonna pause here for 15 seconds awkwardly, unless if there's any questions. All right, we have one.
So I guess it's a two-part question. How would you query those searches not popular, and then from a product perspective, taking those queries, would it be beneficial for the seller to be able to package them as a deal with the products that are most sold?
Sorry, could you explain more briefly, what you would like to know?
I guess you described about the road less traveled, right? So you described about submitting basically data that is not taken into consideration because of the fact that the majority is taken care of.
Yes, exactly.
So how would we best query those that are less traveled, those inquiries, those queries that are less traveled? How could we track those? And then from a product perspective, would it be beneficial for us to be able to take those and attach them as maybe a grouped model product to sell with those queries that are being searched more?
So the answer would be that we developed such a functionality as user journey flow. And for example, we are talking not only about AI, like features-based AI, but let's say we can collect all the data because search bar is like a feedback window of the visitor. So visitor actually is leaving a lot of traces on the search bar. And when you collect all the information, actually you can train algorithms to analyze that data. And when you are connecting with user journey flow, you can receive a lot of interesting results. And out of those results, you can give some, you can get some reports, but not plain reports, but actually action points. What needs to be done, configured with the search, that you could achieve the result. So that, am I Am I? Okay. Thanks.
Hello, thank you. I have a question. What's the key difference between like search engines like Algolia, Clevo, and what you provide in another way, and how to integrate your Lupa search to Magento? Because tell you the truth, I just first time I hear about Lupa search.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are newcomers to the market. We are 3 years in the market. So might be that that's why you haven't heard about us. Algolia is a 200 million revenue company, worldwide leader, and we are a team of 10. So it's a bit, not comparable. But in general, if we are talking about competitor analysis, so as I mentioned on this presentation, in recent 2-3 years, search technologies has changed dramatically. So Clevo and Algolia and all the rest of competitors, they have a great products, but in general, the architecture of those products was built 15 years ago, more than 10 years ago. So we can imagine, what we can build now with the latest technologies, with the latest algorithms, libraries, because search is very intuitive. As I mentioned, visitors expect to get an answer. They receive question. They give a question and they expect to get an answer. And when we talk about, let's say, Google engine, which we are using each day, and there are thousands of engineers who are working on particular search bar, that your results will be would be very, very intuitive. So let's say an example would be Google Images, yes, that you have really good results when you are browsing for images. So 10 years ago, to have such a technology in e-commerce store, it would cost you millions. Now it's a publicly available algorithms, and it's called vector-to-vector comparison analysis, and you can implement to your e-commerce store. And even you don't have a description of the product, you can easily receive really relevant results if you have just images of your products. So let's say if you have products without product descriptions. So I think that when we are talking about differentiation, we can suggest let's say latest innovations which are coming to the market, and we are flexible, fast, and we can easily adopt those latest technologies. We are not inventors of those technologies, we're just adopting them. So I think that's the key difference here when we are talking about competitor analysis. And yeah, and Algolia, it's a huge company, and if you want to integrate, and like we've just talked recently on recent presentations at the very beginning of the event, that Magento is highly customizable. Yes, so usually when B2B players are coming, they need very, very customizable solutions, even in search technologies. So when we talk about API and all the documentation and how flexible we can be, so definitely we can compete even with the top leaders of the market.
Thank you for answers.
We have time for maybe one more question. Okay, great. Sounds like silence is golden. All right, well, thank you so much, Paulius.
Thanks.
And one more round of applause for Paulius.
Thank you.